So I'm finding the domain and range of the exponential function. So to start with, you always want to draw a function that you're already aware of, and you should be aware of the e to the x function. So it's an exponential function that gets closer and closer to the x-axis, crosses the y-axis at 1, and gets exponentially larger when x is positive. So from that, you can just get the domain and range actually. So the domain is all the x values that can go into the function. Now the x values can be infinitely negative, can be 0, can be infinitely positive. So we say it's in the set of real numbers. Real numbers just means that it can be rational or irrational. Now the y for the range, if we think about it, it doesn't cross 0 in terms of y. It's never less than 0, and it's always above 0. So we say that y is greater than 0 represents the range. Now how can we go from here to this, what we're trying to find here? Well, first of all, x is being replaced with 4x. So we say f of 4x would get you to e to the 4x. How does that affect the domain and range? Well, what f of 4x does is it multiplies all the x coordinates by a quarter. But all that will do, if I just draw that on the same graph in green this time, is it'll just mean that on this side it'll go up quicker, whereas on this side it will go down slower. So sort of like this, if that makes sense. Oops, sorry, like this. But it doesn't really make a change to the domain and range. Y is still never going to be 0 or less than 0, and x can still be anything, whether rational or irrational. However, the next side of things, to deal with the minus 3, that's essentially like saying f of 4x and then take away 3. That will affect the curve quite a lot, because what this does is you subtract all the y coordinates by 2. So this intersection, instead of being 1, you take away 3 from it and you get to minus 2. Sorry, I might have said you subtract 2 from it, you subtract 3 from all y coordinates. That includes the asymptote as well. So normally the asymptote's at y equals 0, but because we're taking away 3, the asymptote's now going to be at y equals minus 3. So pretty much the same shape, but it's just everything has gone down 3 units. And although that doesn't affect the domain, you can still put any x value into this and you'll get a y variable out. So we say that x is still in the set of real numbers, meaning it can be any rational or irrational number. But y, now, it can be equal to 0. It is equal to 0 at this point here, which we don't need to find. But it can never be equal to minus 3, and it's never less than minus 3. So we say y is bigger than minus 3. And that's the domain and range for this question. Hopefully that made sense. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it, and be sure to comment if you have any questions or anything, or subscribe if it helped as well.